We will talk about the life and works of Saint Brother Benilde in Saugues, France. It was in a school in Saugues where Brother Benilde emerged as an outstanding educator and saint. The town of Saugues identified itself with the memory of Brother Benilde. It is a town surrounded by mountains, which is why it is separated from Gévaudan. They experience winter for 8 months and usually the roads are covered by snow. The town has a turret that reminds them of their medieval past and marauding armies. It also has a Roman-style church from the 11th century. The streets are narrow and most of the structures there are made from stone. Before Saint Benilde, they had a different saint, Noel Chabanel, who was born in 1613. He went to Canada in 1643 as a Jesuit missionary. He wasn't able to learn the language of Indians, but he asked if he can still stay to help the other missionaries. Before the martyrdom of Saugues and de Brebeuf, in December 8, 1649, Chabanel was assassinated by a Huron convert. He was beatified by Pope Pius VI in 1925 and canonized in 1930. Sometime during the French Revolution, they experienced difficulties. They found a wolf that ate people with the name Beast of the Gévaudan, and it took them 3 years until 1767 before they killed it. In 1788, a fire happened in the good part of the town.
Let's talk about Revolution and Restoration.
The 1789 revolution didn't have much effect to the town of Saugues because it was too far from the center. However, something else happened, and it is the imposition of the sworn priest, Father Domin. He was called a shameful person and his church teachings were poorly attended. France was divided into departments for administrative purposes by the revolutionary authorities. Saugues went to Lucero and the townspeople didn't like it because they were isolated from that part, which is why they protested against this decision. Their petition was accepted and they were placed in the Department of Haute-Loire. During Napoleon's time, the traditional religion was brought back. It is one of the problems of the town and the pastor of the Church of Saint Médard. In 1820, the Sisters of Presentation took over the Covenant of Ursulines and they opened a school for girls. It took 20 more years before a school for boys were opened. In 1821, the town council tried to engage with the Brothers of St. John of God. They were devoted in hospital work. That is why they didn't have much skills and interest in running the school. There are 2 successive pastors that tried to engage with the Sons of De La Salle to open a school for boys, but it was unsuccessful. Instead, what the town council did was they engaged with a lay school teacher, which had an annual salary of 100 francs.
Now, let's talk about Mayor Estaniol and Brother Anaclet.
I'm going to talk to you about Mayor Estaniol and Brother Anaclet. In 1830, the town got a new mayor and his name was Gabriel François Anet Estaniol. In 1832, he obtained the services made by the Sacred Heart Brothers, founded by Brother Coindrer in valley near Lepuy. Bishop de Bonald of Lepuy supported this project and offered 1,200 francs to help, but there are no brothers available. In 1833, Bishop de Bonald wrote to Brother Anaclet. He offered to pay 1,500 francs for 3 brothers to open a school in Saugues. The Superior General replied that he didn't have the brothers and the money offered was not enough. Mayor Estanyol did negotiations. The Imbert Montrofit family had surrendered a large house to the town. In June 1835, the mayor wrote to Brother Anaclet. This time, he added a more favorable description to the house, saying, "Close to the church, to the rectory, and next door to the house of the mayor." Brother Anaclet was not impressed because nothing new was said about the question of money. Mayor Estanyol, though, didn't take no for an answer. In a letter to the Superior General, Brother Anaclet, dated December 28, 1836, he appealed to the plaintive terms and wrote that the pupils were poorly provided for and had been hired to fill in the position for schoolmaster. He has doubtful credentials and claims to have taught in De La Salle Institute for 5 or 6 years. The mayor and pastor wants to get rid of him, but the parents asked them to be patient with him until the brothers could come to open a school. He wrote how badly Saugues needed their help. The mayor still continued because he considered himself responsible before God for the future of the generation. It broke his heart to hear appeals coming from all sides, and he threw himself at the feet of Brother Anaclet to get a reply. But Brother Anaclet still denied him.
Now, let's talk about Father Saugues and Father Tezia. In 1838, there was a new mayor, Joseph Louis Dominique Boulanger, and a new superior general in Paris, Brother Philippe. 2 years passed, Bishop de Bonald was transferred to the See of Leon to be succeeded in the Lepuy by Bishop Darcy Motes. The Church of Saint Medard in Saugues finally got a new pastor whose name was Father Claude Saugues. Father Saugues engaged in a well-known Jesuit named Father Tezia to preach in the parish retreat, and the theme was importance of Christian education. The parishioners were reminded about how the children would learn about the fundamentals of faith. Father Tezia proposed a subscription for the parishioners to be bound in conscience to honor their pledges. At first, the subscription was supported with enthusiasm and generosity. Everyone got involved. Now, let's talk about Bishop Darcy Moles and Brother Philip.
Bishop Darcy Moles and Brother Philip. The new bishop of the town was also forceful and wanted things to go his way. He did not understand the reason expressed by the Superior General, who was reluctant to open a new school. There was a letter exchange between Bishop Darcy Moles and Brother Philip in June 26, 1841. The letter talked about how it would be a wasted opportunity if they didn't get this chance. It is also talked about the brothers' arrangement. A sum of 1,800 francs will be provided for the brothers. 1/3 from the town, 1/3 from the pastor, and 1/3 from the interest on the subscription. In September 15, the temporary schoolmaster was dismissed, and everything was ready for the brothers' arrival.
Now, let's talk about the Pioneer Brothers.
The Pioneer Brothers, Benilde, Jelay, and Jocelyn gathered together in Lepuy to take a trip to Saugues. In September 1841, they took one last look at the Romanist Cathedral, the Cornell Peak, as well as the Asian Chapel, and began the journey to Saugues. In September 29, 1841, the feast of Saint Michael, they arrived in the Saugues, which they descended from the stagecoach. The whole town and the mayor surprised them, and the brothers were just shocked. They were surprised, the mayor and the whole town waiting to greet them. Marie Burrell described the scene. The day of his arrival, it turned into a veritable holiday. The mayor and his entourage accompanied the brothers. Everything happened is doing well. There were just drums to lead the parade and cheers from all sides. They are happy to have teachers who would instruct the poor as well as the rich.
Again, let's talk about Brother Saugues.
Again, Brother Saugues, the confusion was due to a feud that was developed between the town councilors and the pastors. It was over the control of the money raised during the subscription. Brother Benilde was caught in the middle because he didn't like taking sides. And Father Bess explained how there were difficulties between Father Saugues and the municipal authorities. On the other hand, Father Rabert, assistant pastor of the parish, testified more specifically, saying how Father Saugues was the one responsible for the funding of the brothers' establishment and how there were problems regarding the funding which disturbed the townspeople. Another priest, Father Jean Trevis, testified against the attempted cover-up, even if Brother Benilde could remain uninterested about the questioning regarding the issue. The other brothers and him had to suffer. The allowance for the regular expenses was not coming. At first, he found it necessary to use some of the money that was collected from students to pay for school supplies to feed the brothers.
Now, let's talk about the town council.
The town council. Every time Brother Benilde had to collect for the maintenance of the brothers, fights between the pastor and the town councilors would erupt. In moments like these, he would ask the brothers to pray to Saint Joseph, and he would schedule these meetings on Wednesdays, the day of this patron saint. These arrangements were replaced by a more consistent policy. In 1843, Father Dacier was invited to preach another retreat, and the response of the people was spontaneous and generous. They then realized what a treasure Brother Benilde and the brothers are. A letter from May 1846 gives a good idea of the difficulties that the school faced.
Now, let's talk about the reconciliation.
Reconciliation. A reconciliation was achieved by a pastor. During Brother Benilde's most difficult period, Father Saugues retained as his own confessor, and most of the brothers did too. The religious women of the town wondered about this because they looked elsewhere to find a suitable confessor. For the pastor and the town councilors to be brought together at the annual distribution of prizes, Brother Benilde arranged a procession through the streets of the town to the parish church. It was with Brother Benilde's efforts that won over the insolent old pastor. After the death of Brother Benilde, a monument was placed in honor of his memory.
Now, let's talk about the school.
There were other problems to be dealt with regarding the school. Once the school opened, they were mobbed with more pupils than they anticipated. A lot of people wanted to get an education, and because of that, evening classes for adults were open. It was soon dropped because the health of the brother began to drop. Brother Benilde saw the situation, and he appealed to Brother Aggie to get a fourth brother, but at a reduced rate. In October 26, 1841, Brother Gayron joined, and in the following year, another brother was added. This situation was also helped due to natural process of attraction. Enrollment rates dropped. The school at Saugues ran smoothly and continued to do so for 20 years because of Brother Benilde.
And that's what happened in Saugues, France. Thank you for watching.